This is the Look Back Wrestling Show, and I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, guys? So let's go ahead and jump into the Raw and SmackDown review. Raw opens up with Stephanie McMahon coming out to pretty much talk about the match from last night, the WrestleMania match. And she pretty much says the better woman won, and she brings Ronda Rousey out to pretty much say, hey, we're friends. Please join up with me. Let's team up and let's, run the WWE. And they shake hands, hug, and then Ronda Rousey turns that smile she had on her face after she hugged Stephanie to a frown and put Stephanie in the armbar. Stephanie was screaming out of her mind. She's like, no. This is like Stephanie has a cast on her broken arm, or I guess her damaged arm. And Ronda grabs it, takes the cast off, and like about to rip it back. And for a moment she stops. And Stephanie's like breathing in. Ronda just falls back. And Stephanie's tapping out, like almost breaking her arm. And the crowd's like, yeah, like you deserve it. And I was here thinking like, dude, Stephanie McMahon's already injured. It's kind of messed up that you guys are just, running down her like that. It's horrible. Horrible. The crowd was horrible. The crowd was mean. Next we get a Nia Jax segment. Nia Jax comes out and she's celebrating her victory from WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss and Mickie James come out, and Alexa's like, I was so distraught and emotional. You took out my friend Mickie James, and here I am, like, what am I supposed to do? I was so emotional. But she told Nia, you don't have backup tonight. It's just me and Mickie versus you. And Nia's like, I do have a partner. Out comes Ember Moon, which was one of the first of the many call-ups we get and comebacks and returns we get of the night. So Ember Moon and Nia Jax beat Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. Ember Moon hits the Eclipse finisher move. I'm going to call it something else, but the Eclipse, which is like a top rope stunner. Pretty awesome move. You guys don't watch NXT, I need to watch it. But yeah, she hits the move on Alexa and gets the pin, and she looks directly in the camera as she's getting the pin. It's pretty cool. So not Alexa, but Ember Moon and Nia Jax win. Next, get one of my favorite segments of the night. It's Kurt Angle talking to Braun Strowman and Nicholas. So Kurt is on the phone talking about the Superstar shakeup. Out comes Bryan, and Braun's like, I had some bad news, pretty much. Not Wade Barrett bad news, but bad news. That he has to relinquish the tag titles. And Kurt's like, oh, where's Nicholas? He goes, he's right here. He's been right here the whole time. Braun steps out the way, and Nicholas appears. And Braun's like, we have relinquished the title because of scheduling conflicts. He's still in middle school. He can't defend the title because of his schedule. And Kurt's like, oh, okay. And they hand the belt over to Kurt, and Nicholas goes, but when I get back, somebody's going to get these hands. And I was like, that's priceless. That kid, good for him. He's not going to live that down for the rest of his life. He's like, I'm a WWE Tag Champion. I can see him going to school. WWE Tag Champion. Oh, he's a good kid and doesn't brag about it. But as a kid, you don't hold that stuff back. Like, it's like somebody telling you won a Super Bowl as a 10-year-old kid. You're like, what? The second call up and return we get is No Way Jose. No Way Jose is from NXT. He's a fiesta loving fighter. That's what they call it. Like, he dances around the ring. He's another dance gimmick, but when he gets in the ring, he can be able to turn it on and just be a serious competitor. And he wins a squash match, which is like, okay, this is a cool way to introduce No Way Jose as he wins a squash match. But is he going to go through a bunch of squash matches for the next few months? Like, don't just make this a one-day deal. Like, let's make No Way Jose a very strong competitor by having him win a bunch of squash matches. And then when you get his first match, let's say for the IC title or the US title, which we get a Superstar shakeup next week, so I don't know which belt's going to say where. But if he faces the US champion and beats him, it makes sense because of the squash matches he's had. Or maybe put him in a serious storyline. Or heck, put No Way Jose in a tag team with somebody. But don't make him a goofy tag team like Heath Slater and Rhino. Make him a strong competitive tag team. Then we get this Raw Tag Team Eliminator Tournament. So the first one we get is Revival versus the Club. The Revival wins, so they go to the next round. After that, we get Seth Rollins coming out, and he celebrates his new Grand Slam championship by winning the IC title. He celebrates that, and he's just pretty much talking about his match from WrestleMania. So Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns all 3 members of the Shield are Grand Slam champions. That's pretty awesome. You know, Dean got it first, Roman got it second, and Seth got it last. So that's pretty cool. But let's get to the point here. So they come out, talk about, or Rollins come out, talk about his victory. Finn Balor comes out and says, I want to challenge you because you didn't pin me, you pinned the other guy. The other guy, also known as The Miz, he comes out and he's like, I'm going to challenge for my IC title. I'm putting my rematch clause on the line. He's like, because you made my daughter cry, which made The Miz, which made Maurice cry, can't speak, Maurice cry, and just made me feel bad. And Rollins like, I'm sorry, man. Like, and anyway, so The Miz like told the crowd, y'all want to see the rematch tonight? The crowd, yes. Y'all want that tonight? The crowd's, yes. Miz goes, no. I'm going to challenge you at Backlash for the title. So it'll be a feature title match there. And Finn Balor and stuff like, well, why wait to Backlash? Let's get this brawl on right now. So they're about to fight the Mizraj. And out comes Jeff Hardy, ? Which, one, I'm happy about Jeff Hardy coming back. I'm happy about that. I love that. But at the same time, Jeff Hardy just introduced himself in this picture. I don't know why. Maybe to even out the odds, or maybe because he wants the title himself and he's teaming up with those two guys to kind of get on a good graces and they'll have a face-to-face battle. I don't know, but it just, Jeff Hardy's motivation didn't make sense. But then again, this is also the first night after WrestleMania, so we got a lot to go on here, a lot of time to build a story. So I'm curious to see why Jeff Hardy is there and what is he doing. I know he's just not there for a reason. This WWE superstars are not just there for a reason. Like, he has no alliance with Rollins or Balor. But it is cool though to see that Balor and Rollins, who somebody like they like Jeff Hardy and somebody who they watched Jeff Hardy growing up, is now like competing with Jeff Hardy, which is pretty awesome. So Jeff Hardy, Balor, and Rollins face to face against the Mizraj. Mizraj gets out the ring and they walk off. Set up a match later that night. Next we get Mandy Rose versus Sasha Banks. Of course, Absolution's in the Mandy Rose corner. Bayley comes out to be in Sasha Banks' corner for some unknown reason, because I guess they're still friends, but they just had a rocky moment in their friendship. The match comes down to this. Mandy Rose and Sasha Banks gets taken on the outside. Mandy Rose looks at Bayley, pushes Bayley. Bayley got to strike at Mandy. Mandy ducks, hits Sasha, and the referee's distracted, so he doesn't see any of this. That's why the match continues on. But Mandy goes back into the ring, and she waits for Sasha. Sasha gets up, stares down Bayley, and then Sasha gets in the ring. As she gets in the ring, she gets a knee to the face, and Mandy Rose get the victory. Sasha and Bayley still have their issues. Next, we get the Paige retirement speech. So Mandy and Sonya Deville are both in the ring with Paige. They leave the ring, and Paige talks about, she goes, you guys know this, some of you guys don't, but, you know, my neck injury, I've been injured for a few months. That's why I haven't been competing in the ring. And because, you know, WrestleMania last night and watching it just made me like hurt. And she was saying that she really wanted to be in the ring and compete at WrestleMania. And she's like, this arena here I'm in tonight in New Orleans, the same arena I won my first women's championship, or just the Divas championship at the time. And she's like, I think it's fitting that after 4 years, come back to this place and retire here. So she's retiring from in-ring competition. It's really sad. She's only 25 years old. And just, you know, kind of wish you got more Paige. Like, I wish that she was able to continue living out her dreams as an in-ring competitor, because it sucks seeing somebody's dreams go. It sucks seeing somebody work so hard for a dream and then they finally lose that dream. You're like, man, lose it early too, I should say. It's sad. So she did mention Daniel Bryan coming back from his concussion injuries, which is pretty awesome. Stone Cold Steve Austin, she didn't mention Stone Cold, but these are people I'm thinking of. She mentioned Daniel and Edge are two people, like, life after WWE was Edge, and then waiting and coming back like Daniel Bryan with his return. But also, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin had a neck injury, who took a year or two out of his career, but he also had a very stellar like career from the early 90s all the way to mid 2000s, I guess early 2000s. So Stone Cold had done everything. So he came back from his injuries. Trying to think of another person. Lita, unfortunately, her neck injuries took her out, but she was still able to be a manager, able to do other things in the company. So there's some chances for Paige to come back, maybe after 4 years or 5 years. She's 25, so to come back at 29 or 30, it might not hurt, you know. And Asuka, she's like in her late 30s, which is she's still competing. Mickie James in her late 30s, and she still competes. So it's some opportunities for Paige to come back. Maybe let the neck heal up longer. Maybe do some more medical and research and learn about how to heal longer. But it'd be awesome that Paige does come back. So it sucks seeing her can retire in ring competition, but we'll see what's next for Paige. Elias comes out and performs. He pretty much does the same thing what he did last night at WrestleMania, but he does the same thing here. However, the crowd kind of flipped. So WrestleMania was booing him, but the Raw at the Mania, they was cheering him on. He had Elias chant. Like, Elias was so brought back by it. He was like, oh. And he kind of did a moment. He like soaked it all in, and he didn't know what to do. And he was like, I don't really know what to do, but he was like, he wanted to go on, but he didn't want to end the chance. He wanted to keep everything going, and you can see like he was really pleased about it. But as he about to go on, Bobby Lashley comes out, interrupts him, and Bobby Lashley just takes out Elias, just takes him out completely. And I was like, whoa, okay, Lashley. So he's the third return / call up we see. Next we get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the back with Kurt Angle asking for a spot on Raw. Kurt was like, but did you guys just got in trouble for taking out management on SmackDown? And Sami goes, it's a different time. That was personal. This is not. But Kurt's like, well, I only got one spot open unless you guys want to go to TNA and wrestle. And I was like, did he just name drop TNA on WWE television? What? But anyway, so Sami and Kurt have a match later that night. Or not Kurt, but Sami and Kevin have a match later that night. Heath Slater and Rhino come out, so they're not in the tag team eliminator tournament, so they don't call out anybody in the back to come face them. Out comes AOP, who just squashes them, just get rid of them like pretty one-sidedly. And as they're about to leave, they told Paul Ellering, they both of them, Razor and Akon, both like kind of pushed them back with their fists, and it was like, you stay here, we got this, and they walk off. And Paul Ellering's kind of sit there and he's like shaking his head. So I guess they're saying they're done with Paul Ellering being their manager. Like, Ellering was there throughout their whole NXT run for the longest time. And I'm curious to see where this goes. Maybe they're really good speakers, so they can speak really well, and their performances on the mic has increased since the last time I heard them speak on the mic. So maybe this is something for them to, say, hey, we're going to do this on their own. You don't have to travel with us anymore. But at the same time, I do kind of like that mouthpiece of Paul Ellering being there as a guy, like, holding the dogs back as he's like, relinquish the dogs, raise them an Akon, destroy. Like, I kind of like that, but we'll see what happens. And maybe they don't need a mouthpiece. Maybe it should be like a stoic kind of tag team where they barely speak. They say something here and there, and then that's it. Like the Bludgeon Brothers or the Bludgeon Brothers. Roman Reigns comes out and talks about his loss at WrestleMania. He said when he first walked up to WrestleMania, everybody's looking at him differently. Nobody's looking at him in the eye. They wasn't talking to him, which he's like, nobody told me that Brock Lesnar re-signed his contract. But let's take a moment here. Is Roman Reigns on WWE television telling everybody that the show is scripted? Because the fact that Brock Lesnar re-signed his contract with WWE doesn't affect what happens in the ring that night. So if WWE, like, I guess I'm breaking kayfabe here. So let's do in the world of kayfabe. So Roman Reigns, regardless of Brock Lesnar's re-signing his contract, should have beat Brock Lesnar in kayfabe. Like, he should have beat him in kayfabe. Like, if Roman Reigns was that good, he should have beat Brock Lesnar in kayfabe. But he didn't. So within kayfabe standards, Brock Lesnar was a better man and he beat Roman Reigns. But by Roman saying on Raw that because Brock Lesnar re-signed his contract, kind of alluded to the fact that he lost, was like, you tell me they switched the script the day of, and was like, oh, well, Brock Lesnar re-signed, so Roman, you have to lose. Roman Reigns calling, like, breaking kayfabe on TV, was that? Because that's what I took from it. A lot of people took, like, Wrestling with Regret, took it a different way. Wrestle Talk took it a different way. And Steven Larson took it a different way. They all had different opinions on it. But in my opinion, nobody, like, not one of them poked out the fact that Roman Reigns was breaking kayfabe, the theory of Roman Reigns breaking kayfabe on TV. I think he was breaking kayfabe. And then he said, I didn't find out until I got on the internet that was to face Brock Lesnar in a steel cage match at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And I was like, okay, let's Win the match then, Brock. Win the match. Brock, win the match, Roman. Win the match. Out comes Samoa Joe as Roman's going on and on. Samoa Joe comes in and interrupts him and says, you got beat by Brock Lesnar. Suck it up. You know, after Brock Lesnar beat you at the Greatest Royal Rumble, I'm going to take what's left for you at Backlash. And that's pretty much in that segment. So you get Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe at Backlash. Next we get Titus Worldwide versus the Woken Wyatts. The Woken Alliance. I like Woken Alliance, not Woken Wyatt. The Woken Alliance. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy teaming up. And they face Titus Worldwide. The Woken Alliance, Matt Hardy and Bray, they both win. And that's the end of that match. So they go to the next round. Then we get Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. The winner becomes the newest addition to Raw. And this was a great match. These guys always know how to go. I love seeing when people wrestle each other they're comfortable with, like Sami and Owens, Charlotte and Natalya, the New Day and the Usos. Like when they wrestle somebody they're really comfortable with, you always get good matches. They always put on the show, even if it's a short match. These guys put on another clinic. They went back and forth, and it ends in a double knockout. Kevin Owens was able to turn a top rope, I think it was a top rope brain buster. I can't think of the name of the move, but he hits Sami with that. They both knock out, 10 count. Great match. And neither one will get a spot on Raw. Next we get Jeff Hardy, Balor, and Rollins walking to the ring together. And they see Woken Matt Hardy. Woken Matt Hardy tells Jeff, he's like, Jeff, I'm glad you got over your broken condition. And Jeff's like, I tried to call you about it, but you're preparing for your Battle Royale of Giants. Andre Battle Royale of Giants. And they pretty much introduced Bray Wyatt to Jeff Hardy. And they hug it out. Brother Nero, as Wyatt says, hug it out. And Hardy was like, I'm glad to see that Sister Abigail has been obsolete. Like, it's pretty much the whole segment like of the Wyatts and Hardys getting together with the whole Woken universe. And then Bray and Matt walks off. Balor and Seth looks at Jeff like, what was that? And Jeff just puts his gum in his mouth and keeps walking. I thought it was funny because they like, Balor and Rollins are completely confused and just like, what is going on? But I just thought it was funny. And lastly, we get the match. Finn, Jeff, and Rollins versus the Miz Rise. Seth Rollins gets the pin on Miz, so Jeff, Rollins, and Finn win the match. And they pretty much just do the finisher on the Miz Rise except for Miz. That's it. And that was Monday Night Raw. Before I go to SmackDown, I do want to mention about the 4 calls we got, or return/call-ups. And I guess you can count Joe and Hardy, so it makes 6. But Bobby Lashley returned, Ember Moon, Authors of Pain, and No Way Jose. I won't count Jeff and Roman, or Jeff and Samoa because they already been there. But those 4 guys there, like, I wonder who's going to have the better year this year. Like, I wonder who, by the time WrestleMania rolls around next year, where will people be at? I think Bobby Lashley going to be one of the top, like, in the main event, if not hovering above the main event, like in the Rollins and Balor's area. I think No Way Jose are going to be in a tag team or going to be competing for the U.S. or IC title, one of those 2 belts. If not, he's going to be in the tag team division. Ember Moon's definitely going to be a champion. I'm not sure she's going to be a champion before WrestleMania next year or after WrestleMania, but she's going to be in that main section, maybe the middle part, like feuding with Sasha and Bayley, but back up between there. And then lastly, Authors of Pain definitely will have a tag team championships by the time WrestleMania rolls around. Without a shadow of doubt, they should not have a tag team championships. Like, they're not as gimmicky as, what's the name? The Ascension, who was solid in NXT. When it got to WWE, they kind of like just got buried. They're not as gimmicky as that. So I think they have a better shot at becoming tag team champions and being like a monster tag team. Braun Strowman in the Authors of Pain. That just popped in my mind. Imagine that. Sleep on that alliance. Sleep on that alliance. Oh my gosh. If Braun Strowman and the Authors of Pain team up, they will be unstoppable. Because Braun, he doesn't need the help, but the fact that the Authors of Pain, let's say they look up to Braun Strowman and they team up with him, they just kind of like the Undisputed Era in NXT. But then again, I don't watch that much NXT anymore, so I can't really say if the Undisputed Era really gets involved. But every time I watch an Adam Cole match, they don't come out and help Adam Cole. They kind of sit there and watch. So, or anytime I watch like Kenny Omega versus Okada last year in the Bullet Club, the Young Bucks was there on the sideline watching, but they didn't get involved. Like, maybe have the Authors of Pain be there to kind of support Braun Strowman, but they don't get involved with Braun Strowman matches. They don't come out and help him. They just sit there kind of like the guard dogs to Braun Strowman. Like, Braun's the king and they're the guards. Oh my gosh. Sleep on that. Sleep on that. That's never going to happen, but sleep on it. SmackDown Live's open up with Shane O'Mac coming out and thanking everybody. And he officially declares that Daniel Bryan is now an in-ring competitor. He is no longer the general manager of SmackDown. With that being open, that SmackDown spot being open, he brings out the aforementioned Paige. Paige comes out and she takes the general manager spot. So she's now the new general manager of SmackDown. And her first order of business to put a dream match, which she says Daniel Bryan will face, and the crowd chants Rusev Day, Rusev Day. And I was hoping that she would say, oh, that would be a good one. But Rusev got better things tonight. Oh, that probably wouldn't be a good. I get to say that better things, but Rusev has business tonight as well. So I wish she would have said, like, at least mention that. And then she goes away for one more time, and the crowd gets it right. AJ Styles. So AJ will face Daniel Bryan in the main event. Next, we get the Usos versus New Day. The winner of this match goes to the greatest Royal Rumble to face the tag team champions, the Bludgeon Brothers. Now, this was like the first of title contender matches of the night on SmackDown. You had the United States #1 contendership match and the SmackDown tag team contendership match, which didn't make sense to me. Like, the Usos and Randy Orton should automatically have the rematch clause in place. Heck, Bobby Roode should have had it when he lost to Randy. But anyway, I digress. The Usos and the New Day put on another stellar match. Just great. Xavier Woods is great. Big E is great. Kofi Kingston is great, which he didn't do much. He was on the sideline, but still, he's great. Jimmy and Jey Uso are always great. Every time these guys face each other, it's always a good match. Like, just go back years and watch their matches. And the winner ended up being the Usos. They would face the Bludgeon Brothers, who would come out after this match and point down the Usos with their hammers. Next, we get Naomi versus Natalya. We get a backstage segment before where Natalya was like, how could you win the Battle Royale? And Naomi's like, well, let's face each other in the ring then. You want to talk trash? Let's talk in the ring. So they have a good match. Like, I like both of these wrestlers. They're really good. Naomi gets the victory on Natalya. Then you get one of my favorite segments of the night. It's a backstage segment with Renee and Nakamura. Renee's asking Nakamura, why did you do it? Why did you turn on AJ? And Nakamura is pretty much like, I'm sorry, wink, wink. And Renee's like, you're being really disingenuous about that. That wasn't heartfelt. And she's like, how do you really feel about AJ Styles and why'd you do it? And Shinsuke literally looks at her and goes, sorry, no speak English, and walks off. And I was like, what a dick. It was hilarious. It was funny. And I like this snarky Nakamura. I like this Nakamura, and I like the other Nakamura too, but I'm just really excited to see what Nakamura has in store now. So he walks off, and I hope every time somebody confronts him about something, he's like, sorry, no speak English, and just walks off. Like, oh, so great. So great. This is probably my favorite segment of the whole night. So Charlotte comes out and celebrates her championship victory, says thank you to Asuka, where they put on a great show. And she's like, now looking for somebody else to make magic with, make magic at WrestleMania. Let's find somebody else to make magic with. Out comes the iconic duo, or as WWE call it, the Iconics. Either way, doesn't matter to me. So they come out and they kind of cut a promo like a really sarcastic and funny, goofy promo about just Charlotte thinking she's the best and how I'm gonna go up and be a woman and all this kind of stuff, and just really saying, like, just running down Charlotte, but really goofy, like Asian Christian, like, I love it. And by the way, the iconic duo is Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. So those guys out there don't watch NXT, that's who they are. Go back and watch this segment on WWE SmackDown YouTube page. Do it, because it's phenomenal. So they tell Charlotte, you're talking about the past, which happened just literally last night or 2 nights ago, but we're the future standing in front of you. And they jumped Charlotte, they beat her down, they throw her over the table, announcer's table, they pick her up, they run her to the steel steps, pick her up and powerbomb her on the outside of the ring, and they put her back in the ring. And as they stand over her and they get ready to leave, they're leaving up the ring and kind of like smash talking, dogging out Charlotte. Fabulous hits. Out comes Carmella. Carmella runs out, and I love this reaction because Billie Kay hears Fabulous playing. She's like, oh, okay. While Paper Voice is like running down Charlotte, not noticing what's going on, and Billie Kay looks back and she moves Peyton out the way as Carmella is sprinting down the ramp. She grabs Mike Chioda in mid-sprint, doesn't stop, pulls him with her, gets in the ring and throws the briefcase at him and says, now, I want to cash it in now. And Mike is like, what are you talking about, cash in? Like, what are you talking about? What do you want to do this now? Like, really? Like, he's like looking at Charlotte like she's beaten down. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, you want to win this way? And Carmella's like, now. And she's screaming at him, now. And Mike has a briefcase in his hand, slowly walking to the announcer. And he's like, still reluctant on giving it to the announcer, like, are you sure? Are you really? And Carmella's like fisting her hands like this and just going off like, now. Mike finally gives the briefcase to the announcer. The announcer says Carmella is cashing her belt, or cashing her title opportunity. Mike Chioda goes to Charlotte, and Charlotte's about this point on the ring, like ropes, picking herself up, and Mike is talking to her, and Charlotte's like still out of it. Mike is talking to her, and Carmella's like, what are you doing? Ring the bell. It was great. Mike finally rings the bell, and Charlotte and Carmella just kicks the life out of Charlotte, pins her 1, 2, 3, and we have a new women's SmackDown champion. It is now Carmella, who runs around the ring. She gets on top of the announcer's desk, like holds up the belt, comes back in the ring, steps over Charlotte, pretends to kick dirt on her, runs around the ring, walks up the stage, comes back down the stage, starts talk trash at Charlotte. Charlotte's now looking up, awake, realizes what's going on, looks super pissed, and Carmella's like just talking more trash to Charlotte and finally walks away. Great segment. Go back and rewatch this. It was phenomenal. Next, we get Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton versus Rusev Day for the #1 contender to face Jinder Mahal. And I do want to mention about this. Stop cutting Bobby Roode's entrance. Let Bobby Roode get to the ring. Let him do his whole entrance. I don't like them cutting it. It sucks. It's such a great song. Let him do the whole thing. Anyway, Randy Orton comes out. Randy Orton does his whole majority of his stuff. Then he finally gets cut by Rusev Day because Aiden English does the whole speak for Rusev Day. And I don't know. It's an okay match. The ending was pretty cool though. So Rusev finally takes out Randy Orton, goes in, capitalizes on Bobby Roode, gives him to the accolade. And I wanted Bobby Roode to just pass out. I didn't want him to tap. I wanted him to pass out. So Rusev becomes #1 contender. No, we don't get that. But Randy Orton kicks, like as Bobby Roode like he's about to give in. Randy Orton kicks Rusev in the back of the head, runs to the ring post. Rusev falls out. Bobby Roode tries to get the pin on Randy. 1, 2. Nope. Roll out, breaks out. He rolls him up, but breaks out. And then as Randy gets out of the roll up, he looks up and RKO's Bobby Roode for the 1, 2, 3 victory. So Randy Orton will face Jinder Mahal at Backlash, like we had last year. Finally, we get AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, the last match of the night. To me, it was a slow-paced match. Both the guys kind of like teasing stuff, even pace, not even pace, slow pace, but they're both reversing their moves. Nobody got to hit any really big moves out of it. And it finally comes down to a top rope move where AJ flips on Daniel Bryan and like lands on his head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, can we stop doing the head stuff? This is like twice I've seen Daniel Bryan get hit or bumped in his head, and it really makes me like nervous because he just came back from a head injury, and yet it seems like everything that happened to Daniel is like on his head. Anyway, so Daniel and AJ are trying to get themselves composed again. Nakamura slides into the ring, kicks Day on the back of the head, knocks him out the ring, and then he looks at AJ, picks up AJ, low blows him, like a fireman low blow. Then after that, he hits him with a Kinshasa, and then after that, he low blows him again. And before he even did the first low blow, he did a bunch of combination hits on AJ, has the biggest smile on his face, walks out and just cheesing all the way up the ramp. And that's how SmackDown ends. So in my WrestleMania video, I talked about AJ versus Nakamura and then get Daniel Bryan inserted into that feud. So I was like, oh, that'd be awesome to see these three guys go at it at SummerSlam. Well, it looks like we're doing that before we get to SummerSlam. It looks like it's going to be AJ versus Nakamura versus Daniel Bryan, a triple threat at maybe Backlash or whatever pay-per-view. I don't know, but I think we're getting that much earlier. I can't complain with it because it'd be awesome. Maybe we should wait. Maybe we should get Daniel Bryan and AJ Nakamura do their feud, then insert Daniel Bryan, and then we get Daniel Bryan versus Nakamura. I'm excited to see this. So, yeah, that's how SmackDown ended. To me, a lot of people didn't really, I guess a lot of people wasn't really that astounded by the whole Raw and SmackDown to WrestleMania. I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm just really curious to see what's going to happen. And then get the Superstar shakeup next week. So I don't know what's going to happen. I do want to see Randy Orton go back to Raw and maybe have Randy Orton turn heel. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor come to SmackDown. I think it'd be pretty awesome. Finn go to SmackDown. I think that'd be pretty awesome. Titus Worldwide goes to SmackDown. The Usos go to Raw. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen next week. So that's it for my Raw SmackDown review, the Look Back Wrestling Show. What did you guys think? Please put in the comment section below. And thank you guys for watching this episode. See you next time. Keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, comment in the comment section below, and please subscribe for more episodes of Grind Towards Success, movie breakdowns, or whatever it is you're watching on my channel. I have different stuff from interviews to other movie reviews to wrestling reviews. If you're a wrestling fan, please subscribe if you want to see all that and see what's going on. Also, you can follow me on Snapchat here, follow me on Instagram there to see what I'm doing in my personal life as well as my business and Ninja Warrior. And lastly, you can watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success here. You can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns there. Thank you guys once again. I really appreciate it. See you next time. Keep being awesome.